think someone that's going on a social platform to put your body down, that's not even you, try to have sympathy for them and not necessarily internalizing it. Like, you might read something negative, but how you talk to yourself daily, your energy feels that and responds to that.
Welcome back. In case this is your first time at our channel, I am AJ Martofel.
And I am Sasha Martofel.
We are two of the co-founders here at SelfCare is for Everyone, a mental health advocacy startup.
And we're so excited because sometimes we get to do check-ins with individuals who we really look up to and who have become friends of the brand. And today we get to do a check-in with the Ashley Fliehr, also known as
WWE Superstar Charlotte Flair. She's one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. She performs live on television in front of millions every week.
Cool as we get to hear all about her mental health. We get to learn about what self-care looks like when you're a professional athlete. Her persona as Charlotte Flair is really confident, really outgoing, and so we get to see what's it like behind that persona, and is Ashley Fliehr different than Charlotte Flair? I think she's waiting for us. We should give her a call.
Okay.
Grab your phone.
I got the phone right here.
Awesome.
Hi guys.
It's so nice to see you and meet you.
I grew up a wrestling fan, so this is a big deal for me. I mean,
Oh gosh.
nothing but love here.
Well, I have some of my stuff in the back. I just got my sweatshirt on.
What room of the house are we in? This is, I see some of Manny's mask perhaps behind you.
Yeah. So we moved in July, and I've never taken the time since 2012 to put a room together of all the things that I've won or collected over the years. So I was like, we have to have an office. So we just mixed all of our favorite, I guess, memorabilia. My robe, he has his masks from AEW.
How would you compare Ashley Flair to Charlotte Flair?
I'm definitely not as cool. We're glamorous. I feel like so the short answer is, when I first started in wrestling, I wanted to create a woman that I wanted to be like in my real life. Yes, I know if you've watched WWE over the years, Charlotte can be catty, arrogant, entitled, all of those things. But at the character's core, it's just always being confident and fighting for what she believes in and competitiveness. And just as I've grown more confident in my real life over the years, I felt like my character just kept growing leaps and bounds because of it. And I wish I was as put together as my character. I always have great outfits and robes, but in real life, I'm very casual, laid back, like got my sandals and socks that I wear everywhere.
It's social media or on television, no one is that version of themselves. It's such a highlight reel. So you are just like, which is so relatable and very cool of you to share that you're just like all of us.
Well, I felt like from 2015 till when I met my husband, it was very much character driven. So like every little caption would be so cocky. And I'm like, if anyone didn't know me and read this, they would definitely think I was overly confident. But when I met my husband, I was able to kind of share a softer, sweeter side and like the real me. So we definitely brought that out on my like social media platforms, because before that it was just so work-based.
Everyone has bad mental health days. We're all human. If you're having a bad mental health day and you have to go out and be Charlotte Flair, like how do you manage that kind of a day?
Charlotte's kind of like my escape. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I like going to work and being her. Like I like playing that character, because like even if I don't feel like that, Charlotte always gets to be like that. I've had my first break, like extended break last year. And I was forced to have the break because I needed mouth surgery. And I was like, oh man, maybe I do mask a lot of things. It's easy just to go turn it on and be Charlotte and not deal with how you're really feeling in real life. So it's kind of like pros and cons.
Your job is going out in front of tens of thousands of people in a live arena, millions watching you live at home. I imagine, like, what does your relationship to anxiety look like?
I don't find when I'm playing my character or when I'm in front of the audience to be very spastic. Whereas if I'm in my day-to-day life, I can tend to be kind of spastic and neurotic and anxious, and taking care of those things in my real life, because I can't say I really have them as a performer, but taking care of them in my real life is like, okay, if I know I have SmackDown Friday, a live event Saturday, a live event Sunday, and I know that time management and getting to the gym, whether it's in the hotel room, hotel gym, an outside gym, like having that hour to myself, that's, I think, where I find my center, and figuring out, okay, if I have to drive 4 hours after the show or in the morning between Friday and Saturday, what is where I'm going to get the most amount of sleep? Where am I going to get to work out? Where am I going to get to take care of me before I have to walk into the arena and put on that larger than life persona? So, and everyone has their own, especially on the road, their own things that they like to do. Like maybe some people like to go to coffee houses, or maybe it's shopping, or getting like I know some of the girls used to get like blowouts. For me, it's just the gym. Like I really like it.
So I'm someone who, I have struggled with body image in my past, and I think it's really admirable and just super relatable that you've shared some of your struggles with body image before. Also in an industry where, you know, everyone's looking at your body and they're going to make comments on your body. How have you like learned to manage that and like learn to love yourself? What would you say to younger Ashley who is navigating the beginning stages of that?
37, turned 37 in April. And I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Being on camera and open to that criticism that's nonstop via different social platforms, it definitely affected me. But I don't think I really dealt with it the first couple of years. It just really hurt my feelings, and it made me feel terrible about myself. And I believed the things that people were saying, like, I look like a man, I'm not pretty. I think what I have learned is best for me is like how you talk to yourself really matters. You have to think someone that's going on a social platform to put your body down, that's not even you, like try to have sympathy for them and not necessarily internalizing it. You might read something negative, but how you talk to yourself daily, like your energy feels that and responds to that. The healthier I've talked to myself over the last 2 years, it's just helped my mental space.
Is that an active practice for you, kind of changing that self-speak, and how did you go about that?
I don't know. I think it's something I just have to work at daily. And listening to some of the girls talk about me, like in their interviews, saying that like Charlotte would be in the locker room being like, how does this gear look okay? Like, do I look fat? Like things like that. And hearing them say that and me not even realizing I did it for so long. I'm like, oh, even if you feel that, don't say that. I don't need to be like, oh, I feel fat today. Like, did you have a good night? Did you enjoy yourself? Like, I try not to just talk about it. You know what
obviously you've had so much practice with it, so it does take time, I'm sure, to develop.
It does take time.
I'm wondering, you're a high level, top tier athlete. You do these incredible feats in the ring, move off the top rope. I imagine you get pretty banged up. So
knock on wood.
Well,
I'm knocking over here.
We got our working out is such a part of your self-care, as you mentioned. How do you know when to listen to the voice that says you need rest versus the voice that says push through, persevere, like this is what it takes to be the top athlete?
So when I first started, I felt like I had to work out every single day. Like now I feel like an off day is part of my working out. So it's changing the way you think, like, okay, if I want my legs to grow bigger, then I have to give a day or 2 or 3 for my legs to recover to get them to where I want. If I'm trying to grow my legs, it's not necessarily training every day. It's implementing that part of your workout is taking that day or 2 days or 3 days off.
Yeah, balance for sure.
And then after a big match where your body's gone through a lot and you just need time, like how do you recover / self-care afterwards?
Well, like after this WrestleMania, I was working out the next day with my husband in the gym. I was like, I feel I got beat up, but man, that was a great performance. I need to go walk on the treadmill. I don't know. I my body's so used to it. I think it's more not necessarily how do I take care of my body. It's more like, okay, say the show ends at 10. It's more, how do I turn off? Like, how do I turn off the alert, the stage presence, the being in character? How do I like bring that heart rate down? And whether that's maybe reading a few pages out of my favorite book or a book I'm reading, or turning on a series. Like, I love Yellowstone, waiting for the new Sex in the City. It's just trying to calm down.
Is there anything that you do to get into character, like right before the match, or are you just like, at this point, your body just knows it's coming?
Sometimes when I am having those days where I'm like, am I going to be able to become Charlotte tonight? But it's like, as soon as my music hits, like, I just know that switch turns on. Like, even if I don't feel like it in that first 10 second, like maybe it's 10 seconds before I know my music's going to hit in Gorilla. As soon as my music hits, it just happens. But in terms of rituals, like, I always have to be warm before I go out. Like, even if I'm just talking and not wrestling, like, I always have to warm up, whether it's push-ups, jumping jacks, stretches. Like, even if I'm in street clothes, I'll probably be doing push-ups outside of Gorilla just to feel warm.
Sure. Wow.
I love my sweatshirts. Thanks for having me on. I love all the posts. I love the quotes. I want to say that Charlotte is relatable, but I still feel like she's that girl that like has it all, is athletic and all those things where like, I don't necessarily get to like, I've tried to be vulnerable in promos and it sometimes doesn't translate, or I get like, my initial go-to is always putting up like a wall when I get out there, and whether that's being overly confident. So being able to do things like this with my page, when you guys were interacting with me, just felt so natural to me that I was like, that's why I gravitated towards it, because I didn't feel like I was trying to put on a show.
Wow, I can't believe we just got to catch up with Ashley Fliehr. That was incredible.
She's even cooler than I had expected, and she's so personable. We could have talked to her for so long.
Yeah, truly one of the most wonderful humans that I think we've had the chance to collaborate with.
If you really enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, comment below, leave a comment to see who you want us to check in with next. We love doing these check-ins, it's so much fun. And you get to see someone who's on television who you don't get to hear about their mental health too often. You get to see a little bit behind the scenes with us here. So thanks for joining, and we hope to see you next week.